Welcome to Exploring Parables. In this episode, we'll be looking at the parable of the tares in the field. Just like with the parable of the sower and the parable of the good shepherd, this is one of 4 parables that recorded Jesus' explanation. This is another parable given to a crowd by the seaside. It came directly after the parable of the sower. A man sows good seed in the field. While sleeping, an enemy sows bad seed with the good. The slaves ask him what to do. He says, "Let them grow together, then separate them. Burn the tares." In this parable, Jesus explains that he is the man, the field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, while the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy is the devil, the harvest represents the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. We can put this into a chart. Here, we can see that Jesus directly interpreted everything for us, which makes our job easier. Furthermore, he explained each symbol in very plain language for us. There is simply no other interpretations available. He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. There is no debating who Jesus meant. He identified himself as the Son of Man. Some contrarians may argue that Ezekiel is the Son of Man, since God directly calls him that several times. However, Ezekiel makes little sense as an interpretation for this symbol. Though as a prophet, Ezekiel surely tried to sow good seed, he was well dead by the time Jesus came around. Furthermore, no one relies only on Ezekiel for the gospel, and no one ever has. Unlike Jesus, Ezekiel never made the claim that he is the only way to God. And so it is as Jesus says, the man sows good seed. This is a well-known fact in Christianity, even if the other 2 major Abrahamic religions deny it with their dying breath. Another easy interpretation for us, but Jesus declares it for us anyways. The field is the world. There are no other logical interpretations of this symbol. Jesus is known to refer to the world as a place to harvest. That he continues this trend in his parable is not at all surprising. Another easy interpretation that Jesus makes for us. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. This is logical. Jesus talks about people in terms of plant life often, even telling people to inspect the fruits of others' labor. Jesus even says, "He that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together." We should mention quickly who the children of the kingdom are. It is understood that these are people in the kingdom of God, and given that even John the Baptist never entered the kingdom, these must be the followers of Jesus. Thus, those in the kingdom of God are followers of Jesus. However, there's one other time that Jesus uses the phrase, children of the kingdom. After hearing how the centurion did not believe that Jesus needed to visit his home to heal a son, Jesus said, "Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Here, Jesus directly compares many that shall come from the east and west to the children of the kingdom who weep. In case it is not obvious, here the children of the kingdom are the people of Israel, Israel being the kingdom in question. The term, the children of the kingdom, is used negatively. They shall be cast out into outer darkness. Thus, it is easy to believe that the good seed in the parable are not these children, but those who are in the kingdom of God. Here, Jesus tells us the tares are the children of the wicked one. This makes sense as Jesus wants good seeds at all costs, not useless seeds as showed when he said, "Nay, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest." It is interesting to think that the tares here did nothing wrong. They were minding their own business being seeds until the enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. If that enemy never came, then the good seed would have grown as wheat and been perfect for the harvest. But since the tares also grew among the wheat, problems arose. Ultimately, he decided to grow both together. The issue comes from the good seed and tares being grown together, not in the existence of the bad tares, separate from the good seed. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. It is good that Jesus interpreted this for us, as people in his contemporary times might have thought it meant the Pharisees, whereas people in modern times might think he meant a variety of distinct groups, such as atheists, Catholics, or Protestants. However, Jesus told us who the enemy of this parable was, so we need not worry about incorrect interpretations. There are plenty of people that think the devil torment or tempt them constantly, but that is not necessarily true. A man who gets addicted to a dangerous drug may at first have fallen into temptation by the devil, but then the devil goes his own way. Eventually, the victim is left to decide whether to pursue the drug on his own will or not. That is why God said, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" It is man's own heart that is evil. Often it needs merely a small tug, just once, to do evil. Afterwards, the tugger can move on to the next target while the victim struggles. And often, when the victim struggles, he can find relief in his struggle through world-loving people. In our hypothetical case, the man addicted to a drug could find another tare to buy that drug from. That does not make that tare a devil. He is simply living his life. It is not his fault he was sowed in a field meant for good seed. The harvest is the end of the world. There is not much we can say on the subject that would not take up a full book's worth of information. Nevertheless, we will say some things and direct the interested reader to the canonical Gospels and nothing else. This world and heaven will one day be gone. If you believe in Jesus, there's no debating that. However, some people believe that the passing of earth is unconnected to the harvest of the earth and come up with complete eschatologies regarding that. Some think the harvest is a rapture, wherein people will in one moment be on earth and the next be in heaven. Thus, the end of the world would be a long time after that, perhaps 1,000 years later. When the disciples asked, "Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of that coming, and of the end of the world?" Jesus replied by saying plenty of things. One of them was, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. When wheat is harvested, the reapers reap it." This action kills the wheat, but produces the goods. So it seems the harvest will be the planned death of the sheep of Jesus. We should keep in mind that sheep are not only cleaned, sheared, pastured, and milked, but also led to the slaughter. Jesus also says in the next two verses, "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many." It is logical to think that if a rapture does not occur, that many shall be offended, and therefore betray the ones that told them that they would be raptured. The false prophets would say, "Well, it just was not a pre-tribulation rapture. Hold on a moment." That would deceive many. For these reasons, we direct viewers to study the canonical Gospels and not what others read or write, to discern the truth themselves. Lastly, the reapers are the angels. There is not much to say on the subject of angels reaping. Angels do God's will on earth. This even includes killing people. It is easy to believe that the angels will harvest the good seed when it is time to do so. A little confusion over the reapers could have appeared had Jesus not interpreted the symbol for us. He says that humans can be reapers too. "I send you to reap that wherein ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors." Humans can reap on earth while alive by leading others to follow Jesus, whereas angels will reap at the end of the world by causing the death of those followers of Jesus. This is a wonderful parable that shares with us the purpose of the earth and how evil people came by. It also reassures us that God will gather us, that he has not forgotten us, and that we will shine bright with him. There is another thing of interest in this parable. Jesus said, "As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth." He is taking people out of his kingdom, thus directly saying that yes, bad people can be in the kingdom of God. We should not worry about it. God and his angels will take care of it when the time comes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Sam from DoJesusWord.com, and if you're interested in learning more, you can check out the website. You can also see a playlist of all the parables in the description below.